Steve?
Yeah, I mean,
That was pretty impressive. I don't think.
impressive, crazy.
I'm all for flip-flops, but there's certain times of the year where I just have to call it.
It's not bad when it's a stable cold, when you've got wind gusts coming.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Remember everything still has that kind of snow cone on it, where you can potentially stuff your feet right in the shirt?
I remember my parents would really
And my driveway is still half covered in snow.
first 2 years at least.
Talking about, and I'm calling him, number one.
Typhoid Mary.
Yeah. Yeah, because he just sits there and it just goes out every door and he just, he's just getting us all.
My distance is,
It's just the raw.
sound like someone died or whatever.
Oh, no, it's him. No, it's just him.
Fixes everything.
Yep. Last week he was being evicted from all the offices.
Good evening, everyone. It's 7 o'clock on Tuesday, January 20th. Welcome to the Brookfield Select Board meeting. Please stand for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I just want to state that this meeting is being videotaped and live streamed. I also want to take a minute to thank our tax collector, Brenda Parrish, for helping out and doing her part. We do not have a treasurer. And I also want to thank Lori for working with Brenda, and I know it's going above and beyond again, but you're always there when we need you, so thank you. I also want to thank the 4 ladies I saw in here today stuffing envelopes. Nancy Mannix, Linda Lincoln, Lois O'Leary, and Lois Woodard. So we always seem to come up with a fair amount of help, so thank you. The warrants, fiscal year 2026-15, the payroll is $237,595.46. Fiscal year 2026-15, accounts payable, $67,738.51. Agenda item number 1, we're going to pass over, but agenda item number 2, discussion regarding the process of hiring the town administrator. I've heard some discussion and rumors about how it went and what happened, and I just want to make it really clear for everyone that doesn't know. At a select board meeting, this select board voted unanimously to allow Sarah and our town accountant, Lori, go over the applicants and do the interviews and report back to the board. And that's what happened. So, Lori or Sarah, does someone want to speak as to what happened with that and how many people we had and how many got interviewed and how the process went?
I'll let Lori talk first.
Sure.
Because I got it. All I have to say is Google is free and Google is useful.
Thank you, Lori. Sorry to put
That's
you on the
okay.
spot here.
Sorry, Lori. To
That's
put
okay.
You on the spot.
I don't remember exactly how many candidates we had. I believe we got around 10 resumes in all. I didn't count before the meeting. Like Sarah said, Google's free. I've learned from my previous jobs, you do a quick Google search of people's names and you can learn a lot. It saves you the time of doing interviews. If you just see what comes up, learned a lesson in another town by not Googling. A quick Google search of some of these candidates led us to not even interview them. Some poor news articles, poor evaluations, select board meeting minutes.
And even leaving places that they currently or previously were employed, leaving them off of that resume.
Yeah, so
Questions regarding why it was left off of resumes.
we did.
Knowing that that the person worked in the town.
So yeah, we did have one candidate who chose to leave off a town that had previously employed her, even though I had worked with her there. We had another candidate who had been just recently out on administrative leave. We chose not to interview that candidate, which unfortunately left us with one viable candidate to interview. We did have 2 other candidates that we did reach out to that had already accepted employment by the time we reached out to them. So we were left with one candidate to interview, which was Mr. Ayers. We interviewed him, and we both agreed that he was a good candidate.
All right. Well, thank you very much for
You're
that.
welcome.
Anything else, Ed?
No, I mean, I said this last meeting, and I'll say it again, I would have liked to have interviewed at least another candidate, just to have some competition. And I said it even during the grant, when we interviewed the grant writer, it's good to have at least some competition, so you have something to base it off of. So even now, I mean, I'm open to it, but I mean, I can't create viable candidates, so.
All right. Beth, do you have anything to add?
I didn't Google all of the candidates. I remember there being closer to like 15 or 20 total resumes that came in, but a bunch of them weren't totally qualified. I do have a little bit of heartburn that at least one candidate wasn't considered because of a relationship that was disclosed and was cleared by ethics to apply, so long as they disclosed the relationship. Somebody who was experienced and qualified, though only, I think, interested in the interim role. You know, I can't speak to it. All I know is that the information, and I get it, you say that you ran it through Google, which is great due diligence. A lot of companies do that, right? But I'm trying to think the best way to do it, to frame it up, my concern with the process from the get-go was that, and you know what, I did vote for having Lori and Sarah do it because I knew that night I was gonna get outvoted anyway. It was clear the direction that this was gonna go. I had made a request that we actually stand up a committee again a month ago because it's a lot of work and a lot of time to do it right, okay? And what was missing in the communication to the board by the time of the night that we did the one interview was that historically speaking, when a committee has been stood up to do this sort of thing, the communication that has come back with those candidates has included at least kind of that, like, who was reviewed, what made them qualified or not qualified, why the 3 that are getting put in front of you are actually getting put in front of you, and the level of transparency in the documentation puts you in a solid and good position from like an HR perspective and a bunch of other manners. I think it also could have been clearer whether we were talking about permanent versus the interim role, because we had both of them out there. I think there was a lot of opportunity, and I think there was some perception. I know I got a lot of calls, and this was after I had voted for it, saying, why do we have an external and granted, Laura, you've got a lot of experience and knowledge of people in the space, and to your point, you had personal experience with some of these people that they were omitting off their resume. So I think that from a resource perspective, right, your experience is incredibly valuable to the process. Don't dispute it. But there was also a perception that there was a little, let's say it, potential for, I don't want to call it conflict of interest, but the weaker we are relative to having a town administrator, the stronger the case is for having a permanent financial director. And from external to the process, it provides some optics that can be, it just can look like not quite functionally neutral from a standpoint of like pursuing a strong candidate, right? So that was some of the feedback I was getting from external people. Like, we all get calls all the time about who's doing what where, okay? That's what I was getting, okay? So
So do you support what you're getting, or is it just based on the people that?
I can see, so I don't know that I think Lori would act that way, but I can absolutely see how it could look that way. And one of the challenges when you are dealing in a space like municipal work is ensuring that there's not even like that perception of there could be that conflict, right? As much as and you know, nothing is perfectly fair or perfectly even, but I think you do sometimes have to be very careful about that type of perception, right? And that's where a larger committee, so, and here's the thing, it's water under the bridge. I don't understand why we're not appointing Bob today, okay?
It's because me and Lori haven't even had the contract discussion with him yet, at all.
Okay, so
That's why.
so that's
Yeah,
fine,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, we
So-
just, I didn't want to appoint him without at least having some type of conversation. We never followed up, I haven't followed up with him since the meeting.
Okay, right.
So-
So just to clarify that, when I asked Karen if how that transitioned, she said she didn't get your email until Friday. And then Monday was a holiday, so Lori and we all got the email this morning, right?
Okay.
So
Yeah,
and I get it, you're busy, but it just, that to me is half the problem with government, right? We're all volunteers, we're doing the best we can, and the process is so incredibly slow that my thought is, having Lori involved, this is her full-time position, that not necessarily just for the town, but this is what she does. The amount of money that we pay her firm, plus the additional $12,000, to me is a small number for how they've kept Brookfield in good standings the way we are. And so I think you could make a perception of anything at any time and, you know, throw some mud against the wall and something's going to stick. But the reality of it is, I think Lori has been great for the town of Brookfield, and I stand by our decision to have Sarah and Lori do the interviews, because I think we need to expedite the process as quick as possible. It just takes too darn long. So we need some
Well, I mean, if
help.
you wanna-
But hold on.
Okay.
We need help. We need help. We're getting inundated with a lot of things. We're behind. We're now without a treasurer. Like, we need help. So if we can bring someone on board as quick as possible, that's my goal. And it's not, it's to bring them on board to help the community, not to show favoritism or anything to anyone. So, I can't thank Lori and Sarah enough for taking the time that they have taken to do the interviews they've done, so.
So I do just want to point one thing out.
Yep.
You're in a hurry now. Back at the beginning of December, I did a bunch of phone screens and forwarded it to the full board to try to get this process kicked off, and I got crickets from everybody on this board relative to whether we wanted to take a next step, and at least one of those candidates, we wound up losing from that kind of like, it wasn't important until it was important.
I'm going to tell you the one thing that my old math teacher used to tell me. When I point the finger, 3 fingers are pointing back at me. So I have wanted this process to go quickly. We need help. I was not willing to take the time to put the committee together because I thought it was going to take a lot more time to have the committee. And we've had a committee for 2 administrators so far. And how has that worked out? That's not. So I felt comfortable moving forward. And no, hold on, Jeff, no disregard or no detriment to the, right? You have maybe an hour at best to pick someone to work in Brookfield for hopefully 10 years, right? So there was no disrespect to the committee. My only point was to try to expedite it. So I'm going to open it up to the floor, but Lori had her hand up first. So then, Jeff, if you want to go, you're welcome. Did you have your hand up too, Steve? Did you have your hand up also? Oh, okay. Not yet.
So, in regards to the finance director position, I made it very clear when I brought this up again, 6 years later. First of all, the money does not come to me, it comes to my firm. And the reason I brought it back up was not only the absence of the town administrator, it's been the year-long absence of an assessor, and the fact that this was not my first, but second tax rate that I got stuck doing. And that is not the job of the accountant, it is the job of the assessor's office. And I got stuck doing it again. It was also the fact that we were losing our treasurer, and I was going to have to oversee that position. So I've overseen all of the positions. I balance the receivables with the collector, which is also something that a finance director does, not the accountant, because I'm doing both sides of that. I'm showing Brenda how to do it and balancing both sides of it. So I am doing all the job aspects of a finance director and have been since I got here almost 7 years ago. I allowed the town to pass over it 6 years ago when you guys said you were bringing on a town administrator. It was fine to a point when Kelly was here. Even when we had Ron, it was not. I was still doing all of the work. I did most of the budget with Ron. The stuff I didn't do, as we can see, it was done wrong, which is why everyone was under the impression that we were running out of money last year, which was not actually the fact.
Yeah.
And even the years that Kelly did it, she did the budget incorrectly too and misspoke on what we had for revenues. So I have been doing the revenues every single year, and this year I am fully doing the budget. So the position of finance director is needed, whether you actually think it is or not, and it's whether you have a town administrator or not. It's $1,000 extra a month, and the price you pay for an accountant is very small to begin with.
I agree, yeah.
And as far as all the town administrator candidates, I sent feedback on every single search I did or knowledge that I had. I've worked in over 20 communities. I knew some of these people and I had worked with them personally. There was at least one candidate we had interviewed already from the prior town administrator search, which obviously if we didn't choose him the first round, why interview him again?
Yep.
So I sent all my feedback in emails back to Karen. So it wasn't that I was just keeping all my feedback, I was sending it all back.
Well, that's part of the whole process discussion. So it sounds like the feedback was coming to Karen, but it wasn't necessarily getting aggregated and passed along.
Well, it was in the chart. When it came to that chart, they
they put the chart together with all of that they sent you?
I put the chart together.
Right, but that
There was only
included-
like 6 entries
Yeah,
in
and
that.
and that's just based off of the resumes. I asked Karen to send me a batch of resumes, and it was based off of that. I took 5 names off of the 10, 15 resumes that Karen gave me and asked her to reach out to the 5, and Bob was the only one that replied.
So,
So
And yeah, I do have to say one more thing, yeah, and I do agree, yeah, I gave a lot of feedback in person too, after on my lunch, like at 12 o'clock after Googling and watching some videos, so, I mean, I'm more than happy to go back and look at each candidate and give you more input if you would like. Just to give you a better idea.
yeah, I'm just saying that there's a substantive difference between, like, what got communicated around the
I
candidates.
agree, I
Okay, yeah,
100% agree.
I'll gladly put all
100%.
my notes into a chart if we want to put all the names that were received into a chart. Again, it would only go to the board because it is not public information.
Right.
But I'll put all my feedback that I had originally emailed
At-
into a chart if
at-
everyone wants it.
At this point, I don't think it's worth the retrospect, but I think we need to understand as we go forward that we need to be clear about how we're approaching this, right?
Yeah, and I brought this up, to be honest, and I even texted Jacob last week, and I'm gonna say this, I am so for having all of the applications and everything just to go to one email address, applications at brookfieldma.us or something, and having, for anything, just to go there, and then it can be dispersed from there, but at least they're going to just one point that has no other emails or isn't
Right.
burdened with anything else.
Right, so it doesn't get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So
it's
I
easy
do want to
to
hit
find
on one more
after.
thing that I'm not sure of, because I had spoken to Patty about the assessor's position, and in speaking to her, that she had a really good time frame this year as far as getting approved from the state with the assessors and setting the tax rate, and I think she was in the, like, 30 percentile as far as the state goes. So I would like to know more. We're starting to get off topic a little bit, but I would like to know more what you mean when you talk about Patty, because I thought Patty was doing an exceptional
yeah.
job.
Oh, no,
So
Patty did a great job, but it's a matter of me having to say, okay, so now it's time to do this form, and now we need to do this, and now you need to reach out to Roy for this.
Okay.
So if you had a full-fledged assessor, and Patty is not, and I give her credit, because she did a ton, and she has done a ton for the last 2 years, but she is not an assessor, so she wouldn't know. She wouldn't know which, that the forms have to be submitted at a certain time and in a certain row.
So-
or
so
they
just-
get
I mean,
kicked
my
back.
understanding was it was like in reverse, where she had it and thought she had it laid out and just brought it forward to say double, asking for a double check, not that you were driving it from the other direction, so
And
maybe I
there's
misunderstood.
certain numbers that Patty would put in that I put in. So it's just, there's certain things that I don't normally do for the tax rate that
So
I
I'd like-
ended up doing.
I'd like to just have a quick huddle with
Oh, sure.
you and Patty at
Yeah.
some point to kind of go over, so it kind of points her in the right perspective,
Yeah.
because she puts her heart and soul into it.
Oh, no, I know, and
so-
we walked through the whole thing together, and
Okay.
she did a great job, but
Yeah.
like I told her, I wouldn't expect her to know half that stuff.
Okay.
Because she's not the assessor.
Okay. All right, well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Bruce, I'm going to let Jeff go first. He had his hand up if you want to talk, and then I'd like to have Bruce come up.
2 minutes?
2 minutes.
Try to keep it short. Okay. Jeff Clark, 101 Brunel Avenue. Number one, again, I'm not sure the point you were trying to make, Beth. I think I understand it, but from my regard, I've worked with Lori for I don't know how many years. I trust her implicitly, no, whatever. That's number one. Number two, again, I was on the previous search committee for the town administrator. Given all that's gone on in the town and everything else, I think, again, it's your call, question of whatever judgment, timing, everything else. I think even if it took 3 or 4 months to have a transparent, independent process with 6 outside people, whomever we selected, Bruce, Mary Lou, whomever had the last time, we had a rating chart, we had resumes, we checked, I mean, it was perfect notes, everything else. The fact that we came up with 3 qualified candidates, Ron was more qualified than the other 2. It didn't work out. The fact that he left in midstream, I don't know what happened, but at that point, I think we should have said, okay, let's not panic and try to jump in, let's try to get an interim, put a search committee together, and then everyone can see what's going on, and we don't have this sort of mass whatever as far as communication and, you know, emails getting lost or not putting forward, whatever. It just doesn't look good. I mean, I'm sure Bob is okay, but I would much rather have had at least 3 candidates to come forward, and if we had to wait for another 2, you know, as a townsperson, I'm willing to wait for another 2, because everyone is pushing forward to get the work done. I know some things are falling through, but again, I'd rather have that than have this sort of misconception and whatever going on. So thank you.
Thank you. So I do want to make one more comment regarding the town administrator. It seemed like Ron was a great pick, very good guy to get along with, personable, somewhat knowledgeable, but he was not a town administrator either, and he did not meet the qualifications, what we're really looking for in the paperwork, but he was a pick, right? So my thought is, the man that was picked is a long-term resident his entire life in town. He's been on many boards in town. He's volunteered for the town. He loves the town like everyone in this room that participates in town. And I would have liked to have seen more applicants, but there weren't any more that met. So I'm good to move forward with him, me personally. So sorry it didn't meet the committee, and I feel like, from my perspective, we need help here. We're using town council more than I care to, and I think we could stop for the most part once we have a town administrator. So, Bruce, come on up.
Bruce Clark. I just want to clarify a couple of things. Lori did sit on the search committee with us,
I'm aware of that.
and I thought we all did a fine job.
And you did.
Ron had over 20 years' experience as a selectman. That's why he kind of went to the top of our list. Municipal government law, that's all. That's all I have to say.
So my point is, does he really meet the qualifications? Not really. Being a selectman is good, and that's, to me, that's probably 1/3 of the way there. And I realized it looked good, and I realized the committee, based on everyone that was there, made the best decision they could make. But to meet with someone for a job like that, maybe an hour at best, it's hard to say, look, this guy's gonna be perfect, and, right, so you can make the best decision you made. It didn't work, and we're moving on, so.
There's no doubt, it didn't work out.
But I meant no disrespect to the committee and everyone that was on it. They did the best of their ability for the hour they had with the person.
So where are we now with the selectmen of how many terms?
I'm sorry.
Mr. Ayers was how many terms as a selectman?
I think just one, if I
Just
remember
one.
right.
Well,
Is
we
that-
had a 20-year selectman come in,
Yeah, 21 years.
and he didn't know the ins and outs of municipal government.
Well, he knew some, right? He was
He
somewhat
definitely knew
knowledgeable,
some, but what
yeah,
I'm getting
yeah.
at is, I'm afraid we're going right back to where we were. We didn't hire a professional.
I think Mr. Ayers made a really good point. To really get someone that could meet the job qualifications to do everything, you probably pay $250,000. And we're looking for someone for
Probably,
1/3 of that
probably
or
would.
less, right?
Probably would.
So I
And I'm
think-
not knocking Mr. Ayers at all, I
No.
don't.
Yeah.
I'm just not. But I just think the qualifications, if that's what you're looking for, you're not finding them in this round of applicants you had.
But not only as a town administrator, but any job posting we put out, we're not finding them, whether it's police, highway, like it's just.
You're right.
So, thank you. Anyone else? Come on up, Steve.
Steve Garman, 57A Molasses Hill. I think the one aspect that might have sat uncomfortably with some residents is the decision to go with permanent versus interim for this candidate, because I understand that you need some help right now, and that's why you expedited the process through an internal committee, effectively, between Sarah and Lori, and I get that the board approved that, and that's what led you to this candidate pool and the selection of a town administrator. But still, if you need help now, you still have the opportunity to do it as an interim to see if this pick underneath constrained circumstances is going to play out well. And I don't think the town would have necessarily lost anything by going the interim route as opposed to the permanent route. It would give both Mr. Ayers and the select board an opportunity to see if this arrangement is working out without executing a full contract in the event that there were some issues along the line. Or if you did want to perhaps go a longer route with a more thorough search as you have done in the past. And granted, I get those candidates may not have worked out in the past, but I don't think that reflects poorly on the town administrative search committee.
Agreed.
Because it's all in
Agreed.
hindsight.
Yep, yep,
But the more
agreed.
applicants you get, the more interviews you have, the more candidates that come before you, ultimately the bigger the pool is and the better result you can get.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the hope.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, and
All right.
one thing to also keep in mind, and I know people keep kind of obliquely referencing Kelly, the one thing that we did accomplish with Kelly during that period of time is I think it was our lowest legal fees ever during, right? Between her legal experience and her town administrator experience and her tendency to be proactive about anything that could lead to litigation. You know, it really positioned, you know, when people asked us to fundamentally fund the town administrator position with some savings, I think that's the one line you could point to during that period of time, right? That was really beneficial to the town, so.
But we also didn't have the open meeting law complaints that we have since Kelly.
But you know
right?
what,
That-
right, well, Kelly, well, right,
I
but.
don't know if Kelly, you know. I
Well,
don't
Kelly
know how that
kept,
transitioned.
Kelly's comment when we, about 4 or 5 months into, after we hired her, and somewhere there's a tape, I think, relative to it, or maybe it was just a side conversation, was that she really enjoyed the board that she was serving with because we never directed her to do something illegal intentionally, and if we did tell her to do something illegally unintentionally, we listened when she told us that that was probably not the right route to go. So, you know, it's one of the things is being proactive, and if you get the feedback regarding things procedurally, making sure that we're adhering to that feedback that we're getting about procedural adherence. So,
We have Chris.
Oh. Go ahead, Chris.
So I just want to say on the total optics of this, when you guys voted that you were going to have Campbell and the town treasurer do the interviewing, it was plural. There was going to be interviewing. You know, and my expectation was that you're going to come back with, you know, 2 to 3 like you did last time, and you would interview 3 candidates. And if you look at your agenda for the night that you guys are going to interview your candidates, you put down that you're going to interview candidates, and there was actually only one candidate. You didn't even list his name. And then you shut off all public comments for that meeting. So from a citizen's perspective, what you guys did was say, we're going to hold interviews, not tell the public who you're interviewing. The first time you ever done that ever. And then the interviews is actually only one person. And I think that just that whole universe of doing that makes it look shady as can be. And I want to echo what Mr. Carmen said. I think that the board should make Mr. Ayers an intern. Let him test the waters. See if this is something he wants to do. And Rich, I'm going to comment on what you said, because you said it before on the open meeting law complaints. Open meeting law complaints don't need to go to KP Law. When I was the chair of the Conservation Commission, I was responding to them. You could do a 2-sentence thing. We believe this complaint is bullshit. Send it along. You don't have to do a whole, really could. So, I mean, to sit there and say that the legal bills are being inflated because of open meeting law complaints, it's actually incorrect, or it's by choice. You know, on whatever level Chris you want to call it, by either not responding by yourself or simply not following the open meeting law. You know what? You could cut the legs underneath this whole thing if you just simply follow the open meeting law. Or made a commitment and say, you know what, we screwed up here, thanks for pointing it out. We're going to make sure that this violation never repeats itself. And not just empty promises.
Thank you, Chris, but I do want to say, we've had open meeting law complaints filed for as little as a typo. We've had open meeting laws filed because it was as little as someone didn't, or I didn't make a mention that the meeting was being videotaped. So the reality of it is, I hope we can get past that, Chris. I hope you feel like that you're being treated fairly now. I give you 2 minutes. I don't cut you off exactly 2. You stopped when you heard the alarm, but you did not hear me cut you off. So I'm hoping we can get beyond that, and let's move together for the community. And I'm doing my best to run a civil board with no antics, no yelling, no screaming, like, and making, if someone's frustrated, get them to speak through me rather than, so I'm doing my part. I hope that the rest of the community will do theirs. So I think we're all here in this together, and hopefully we can kind of put our differences aside for a couple hours a week and do the right thing for the town. So thank you, Chris. Anyone else get anything else? I'm gonna move on. The job description for the town administrator. I would like to pass that along unless you guys are set to make the changes or recommendations to.
So I read through it,
Okay.
and there's a lot of words there, there's a lot of, but it's, you know, it's really funny, Mr. Ayers made the comment that, like, it, you know, it's 3 pages of job description. There's a lot of language there, but there's really only about a page, maybe a page and a half of content. So I don't think we need to action it tonight. I guess my question would be, because if y'all want, I'll take some time to just like really literally just rewrite the damn thing into something that's clearer but covers the same content.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just say the word, because I think that really, if you look at all this language, there's really only a page and a half of job
I
description.
think you could almost sum it up with one sentence. The job description's gonna be whatever we need at the time, right? Like, whatever we need,
Well, that's
and whatever
every-
we need, the role of the town administrator, it's gonna change on an hour-to-hour basis at times. Something will come in, flare it up, and he's gonna have to, right? So whoever, go
Well, I'm
ahead.
going to say that actually that's exactly the problem that we have right now. And the key with regards to the town administrator description, okay? And there's some good language in here about that. I don't know if you read
I
through it.
reviewed it, yeah.
Right? So if you read through it, there's some really good definition in here that I think if we adhered to, you'd be dealing with, I think folks would know that how to define what their role is when those actions come in. Okay? For instance, right, like the general operational matters, right? You know, it's everything from, like facilitating our discussions to really kind of day-to-day administration with the department heads, right? And establishing that structure by which is the normal flow of information, the normal flow of direction with the department heads, right? And all of that's actually pretty well defined in here, that they're really supposed to be the central point, with the board really being a policy board and the day-to-day operations being managed by the town administrator, right? But I think, I don't think that their priority necessarily sways like hour to hour, moment to moment, if they understand what that broader, what's going on in the town constitutes, right? They will have to reprioritize. They may have to reprioritize with the department heads, right? But I don't think it's the level of, I don't think it needs to necessarily be everything is other duties as assigned. I think this does a pretty good, I think, I understand what Mr. Ayers was saying, is that it looks like a lot on paper, but it really boils down to advise on the nomination of the department heads. Communicate with the department heads what their responsibility is in operational manners, though not necessarily like day-to-day, like direction, but making certain that they know what they have in front of them and that they're taking care of it, right? And fundamentally that coordination with the boards, right? And really being a central point for human resources relative to things like annual reviews, which we haven't done ever in this town effectively, contract negotiations and the like. I mean, that's the job, right? And I think we typically expect them to also be the chief procurement officer, and it's labeled here as one of their financial things, right? That's really what it boils down to, right? That one big, long kind of run-on sentence. A lot of this just fills out that picture, okay? But I don't think it wavers from day to day. I think this is the picture of it. It's just
Well, I think the
managing the
different
town.
issues, I think there's different priorities day to day, but you're right. It's all under one umbrella, but the different things that come up day to day change.
Well,
right?
I think
So,
there's two different things. There's the annual cycle, and I think you have to acknowledge that. I mean, there's the full annual cycle of what goes on in the town. It's that whole roll-up of being prepared for town meeting, right? Getting all that in front of budgets. It's the capital planning. It's the election is all the town clerk mostly, right?
Yeah.
So it's just avoiding scheduling anything on top
But
of it, right?
appointments. And-
But appointments, nominations, and the like,
But
right?
then, but you also said reviews, right?
Right.
Reviews on full-time employees. Like you
Right.
said, that hasn't been done.
Right.
Goals.
Right.
Goals and objectives, yeah, exactly. So,
So all of that, and just setting the expectation that the department heads even be doing it with their folks.
if you want to rewrite it, take it and rewrite it, and then send
Just
it
bring
to
it
Karen
back.
as quick as possible and get
Sure.
it back to us, that would be helpful.
Okay, we'll do
As
that.
long as, Sarah, you're okay with that?
Yeah.
I'm good with it as well. All right. Appoint town treasurer.
I actually have my hand up.
Oh, sorry, Chris, go ahead.
Well, one of the things I'd like to see to be put onto the town administrator's job responsibilities is go back to what Kelly Robbins had. But Kelly Robbins was the gatekeeper to KP Law. If you were a board member or a chair of a board, you wanted to contact KP Law for a legal question, you had to go through the town administrator first to get permission. And I'd like to see that go back into effect. Because we're talking about legal fees. Anybody and their brother that's in our town, you just contact KP Law. Cha-ching, 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 the cash register just keeps going. So I think that part of the responsibilities of the new town administrator should be they are the gatekeeper to KP Law. You need the permission first in order to engage with KP Law. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, so Sarah, Lori, do you want to bring us up to speed on your interview today with the town treasurer?
I don't know. We interviewed 2 candidates, one Thursday and then one today. The one Thursday is,
She withdrew this morning,
no longer interested.
which is unfortunate because we had a really good interview and she was
Yes.
interested.
Yes.
She withdrew this morning and said, unfortunately, the ride was longer than she expected. She was coming from
Upton.
Upton.
Upton,
Yeah.
so
Upton's a hall.
Yeah, when she originally came out Sunday, she said she came out Sunday, walked around the town hall, like outside. She said it didn't take her as long, but then when she came at 5:15 during rush hour
it was a
on
lot.
Thursday, yeah, it was a lot.
It was over an hour, and she was concerned, even though we discussed the remote possibilities. She just said
Also,
that,
she'd be going opposite of the traffic, actually,
yeah,
because she'd be
Yeah, if she
going.
came in the
Yeah.
morning, it would be better.
it
Right,
would.
because I used to work the opposite direction, and it
We-
was empty the other way.
I think it was probably more than that. She said, procedurally, even she expressed during the interview that she was confused on what the role of the actual just treasurer was. She's not just a treasurer now. She's a treasurer collector with some mixed in accounting jobs. The community that she currently works for is a mess, which is probably all I can say without giving away where she works. So she is kind of doing 3 roles. So when I explained to her what her duties would be, she was confused as to what just the treasurer roles would be. She's also not certified, so she was a little confused as well. So with that, so I said, you should check the manual, because when I said, that's actually a duty of Brenda, because we have a collector. And she said, well, that's the treasurer. I said, you're going to have to read the manual. We left after a 2-hour interview, and we thought we were appointing her tonight. Unfortunately, she withdrew this morning. So we threw together an interview at noon today, and that's who we're going to appoint. They were our only 2 viable candidates.
Yes, and my suggestion would be to be an interim for
Yes.
the time being.
Yeah, well, and especially where, in worst case scenario, I know that Brenda was willing to continue for a while, correct?
Brenda's not willing to
No.
continue for a
No,
while.
not anymore.
Brenda wants
Nope.
out.
Yeah.
Brenda said if we can find someone as fast as humanly possible, that
She
would
was
be
in
ideal.
Yeah, she was in Karen's office after the interview asking how it went.
Went.
So
Got it.
she's ready.
She's holding her own for the time being, but she said as fast as humanly possible would be ideal. So the candidate that we're going to appoint her so we can give you her name. Her name is Rebecca Ferrand. She is the treasurer collector in Spencer. She is going to keep her job in Spencer. She's going to work for us part-time. We're going to appoint her on an hourly basis is our suggestion as interim treasurer. That way we can both see if this is a good fit and if it's going
And
to
if
work out.
if she's able to work it in.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Is she technically full-time or part-time in Spencer?
She's elected.
She's
in
elected.
Spencer, but technically she is full-time and she's the treasurer/tax collector there.
Yes.
Okay.
She's both.
We went over her availability. She is available to come in Tuesdays and Thursdays for a few hours to meet with me, and she has all days Friday to work remotely, which is why we also agreed that hourly would be better off, because she seems to think that, she has no problem doing this in more like 15 to
16 hours.
16 hours a week. So we figured if we could kind of gauge how long it would take, we could come up with a better salary recommendation for next year after she does it for a little while. She would need a bit of training. She's never used Vadar before. They use a much larger software. They use Munis. So
Yeah, I'm
what I told
familiar
her
with
is
Munis.
if she can use that, she could probably use Vadar very easily. She's never done payroll, so she is going to take advantage of the fact that my firm is willing to train someone, so she'll train remotely. She has someone that she can lean on in her own town as well if she needs help, but Nicole is more than willing to train her, having gone through a payroll herself. She's willing to start immediately. She does not want our benefits because she gets benefits through Spencer, but we did go over that she has to sign up for retirement here. So that's where we are. We had we did get quite a few resumes. Most of them had no municipal experience whatsoever. Unfortunately, it's not a job where we're really wanting to train anyone. We got one other person with municipal experience. Unfortunately, his references were not good, so we didn't even interview him. So,
All right, well, thank you very much.
you're welcome.
So we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to appoint Rebecca Forand as interim town treasurer.
I'll second that. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I'm gonna abstain.
All right. Number 5, approve highway snow deficit spending request, wages and expenses. So,
Oh, I do have one question. I know that we voted to appoint. Did
Oh,
we-
yeah, a dollar amount. So since she's not taking benefits, me and Lori and her suggested $45 an hour.
For an interim, that'd be pretty standard, actually.
And she is experienced. She's been a treasurer collector certified since 2014, I believe. So
Right.
she is experienced, just unfortunately not on our software.
Yeah, so that's, I mean, honestly, we paid that for an interim probably 6 years ago.
Exactly, and we are doing it on an hourly rate, and we
Yeah.
figured going into next year and however long she decides, we agree that this works out, we could come up with a better budget number.
Right, absolutely. No, that's right in family for what
So
you pay
should
for an
we
interim treasurer.
Ratify that with the vote from the board.
Yeah, so
then?
I'll make a motion that we authorize a hourly rate of $45 an hour for the interim treasurer.
And I'll second that. Do we have, are we good with the 15 hours a week, or is it, what would it go to?
No, don't sweat
No,
that. She needs to
okay.
do whatever she
Okay.
needs. If she has to work
Okay.
on a Saturday to
Yeah,
finish the
yeah,
work or
we
whatever.
didn't say how many
We
hours.
left it as, it could be part-time, it could be full-time, especially to get going, where she's gonna need a little bit of training to get in and get moving. But then she could kind of figure out where it needed to be.
Yeah,
Yep.
Okay. All right, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
abstain.
All right. So getting back to the highway snow deficit. Kyle, I think I'm going to have you come up to speak about the snow and what your thoughts are, what you're looking for money to get you through. My thought is, we put a certain dollar amount and we see where that goes, and then if you run out, then we have you come back again, is my initial thought. But Beth, you've been through this before. What are your, I imagine you've been through this before.
I've
with
been through
highway
this
budget.
every winter for
Okay.
the last 8 years, whatever.
I think maybe the last couple, did
Actually,
they
if you count my time with the advisory, I think I've done this for like the last 15 years, so.
Kyle Rakowski, Highway Superintendent. So, to date this year, total of 26 SALT events, 25 of which were called in by Brookfield PD or Massachusetts State Police, which means I've been running a reactive department rather than proactive. I've not pre-treated before the storm to cut back on wages. I actually wait till the storm event starts in efforts to reduce overtime wages. The trucks are all calibrated at 240 pounds per lane mile, which is the industry standard, and that is in efforts to reduce salt usage. We've had more salt events to date this year rather than all of last year total. This has been the most aggressive winter in almost the last decade. The previous 6 were very, very mild. Last year ramped up a little bit. This year is even more aggressive than last year for trending. But the colder temps this year forced us to change our technique slightly. We had to treat our salt with a brine that was making it more effective. Normal white rock salt is useless below 20 degrees Fahrenheit, and we had the coldest December on record, and we're scheduled to be in single digits or minus digits in the upcoming couple weeks. Our price for salt is really good at $75 a ton. The treated salt goes for $103 a ton. Unfortunately, we are probably down to $3,000 in expense and $8,000 in wages. My recommendation was $40 for expense and $20 for wages to get us through to hopefully April 1 and get us out of snow ops.
Yeah, and that 40 is because that, most of that would get consumed by another salt delivery, right? And then how much did you say on the wages?
20.
Yeah, and that's really just, when you do the math, it's roughly 5 storm events.
That's correct.
5 days, 5 days
or
of storm wages.
2 long duration plowing events.
Yeah.
Which is typically what we see in the Februarys.
Yeah. So, neither one of those is excessive in terms of anything that's bought in terms of materials still be good for the start of next winter. So fundamentally, we get a full load, we use what we use, we have it for the following winter. It's kept under cover in the salt shed, it's not an issue.
That's correct.
Right. And then that's enough wages to, based on the forecast, get us to the, I think, 2 weeks if we're lucky, right? So long as we don't get any currently unforeseen events. So neither one of those is an excessive ask. I'd actually say it's a little bit light on the wages. I would probably go closer to 30 at least on the wages, just because if we get a particularly, I mean, the storm this weekend, it was supposed to be like half a day and it wound up a day and a half of crap. So, you know, but that's what that falls out to be.
And that's what you're at, 75 a ton?
Yes, sir.
Or are you going with the 103 because it's so cold right now?
I have 200 yards of treated rock salt in the shed and roughly 400 of straight white rock salt.
Okay.
It would probably be enough in there right now to get me through the rest of the year, but that would leave us completely blanket dry for the next upcoming winter and/or some late season events. I would not. It would
That's cutting it too tight.
It would, yes.
That's cutting it too tight. So were you planning on getting all white rock salt, or are we gonna get some of each?
I'm going to do some long-range forecasts to see what we're looking at for temperatures before I make that decision.
Yeah, exactly.
much-
So we'd be looking probably at 103 based on at least the near-term forecast.
I mean,
How much does it cost you to have it treated on site?
it's a great question. It's roughly $1,900, and they were able to treat 400 ton, give or take. You know, they like to liquefy it with 20 gallons of liquid per ton. So, and it's just a half a day of labor, backblading, and all that. I have videos of all that done, that procedurally, and I can do the price comps on that as well before I make a decision.
So that almost seems cheaper than buying it for $100 a ton, right? So, and it seemed to be pretty effective, because in December when you went out and the weather was, I think, 10 degrees and all the roads were wet, I don't think that.
That was not over saltage. That was treated rock salt.
Yeah. All right.
Actually, I think if you do the math, it comes out almost equal. If I'm doing the math right in my head, but I'm doing it in my head, so I don't know that it's 100% correct. But when I start doing like spitball math, that comes out almost identical if you buy it treated versus if you include the labor and the cost of getting it treated, depending on how big a amount you're getting treated.
But it
so.
appeared to me the stuff that you treated on site worked better than if you bought the typical treated salt. Is that a fair assessment, or am I off? It seemed like it really worked well.
Whatever we did was pretty effective. It was very effective.
So. But either way, that's going to cost us roughly, what, 25?
60,000 total, right? For
Well, labor and material,
right,
yeah.
exactly.
Yep. So I would put it that's where I would probably put the number is 60 tonight, just based on the fact that we're planning on getting material as well as labor. Other years when we've only done it 25 to 30 at a time, it's been labor only. We had enough material. So
Okay.
some years we've gone as high as that, typically when we need material. So,
Okay. I have a motion.
I'll give you a motion to authorize a deficit spending of up to $60,000 on the snow and ice budget.
A second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
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 All right.
I have two more.
Thank you, Kyle. Review highway equipment discussion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't see, and I know Kyle forwarded the information at one point. I don't see it in there. There's three, oh, thank you. Thank you for bringing the hard copy, because I was about to pull up the text version of it.
Me too.
So, and I meant to look at our budget. You don't happen to have our balance sheet on the fleet repair replace account on you, do you?
Uh, 91.3.
91.3. Okay. So, I wanted to make sure we got this in front of the board, and it is impacting Kyle's snow operations right now. The 2006 1-ton, and Kyle, I know we had a discussion around it. I don't know if you had any more details about what's blown on the engine. I know that Scott had replaced the fuel injectors on somebody's advice, to no avail in terms of getting that running again.
That's correct, and I talked to Scott. He said without taking the engine apart, it's hard to tell whether it's the upper or the lower, and it depends how much time and diagnostic work we want to put into this.
Right. So rough estimate before Scott left was that it'd be about $10,000 in parts in order to really bring that, that truck up to full capability. Replacing it would be a 25 to 40K estimate, depending on the age of the replacement vehicle. New obviously would be more. In part because a lot of our snow drivers aren't necessarily CDL drivers. We do a lot of plowing in the town with the 1-tons versus the larger trucks. And my understanding is this is driving some of Kyle's overtime because it does just take longer.
Just for reference, there's a list of roads there, supposed to be taken care of by a combination of the 3 1-tons.
Right.
So the routes have actually doubled, the time to do the routes has doubled, and it's noticeable in the public with the calls I get as far as,
Some of
a
the smaller
normal
side
standard
roads.
plow route should be roughly 2 hours, 2.5 hours, 3 tops, and there's sometimes we're not hitting a subdevelopment or a cul-de-sac or intersections, or the lower priority areas such as the transfer station, the boat landings, and higher priority is like police, fire, town hall. We're looking at 4.5 to 6 hour final scrapes, and then a post treat on top of that, and then we go to our low priority areas.
Yeah.
It's just elongated snow operations, to be honest with you, and it's doable, but it takes a toll. The 06, replacing the 06 is not just about snow operations, that's day-to-day operations as well, because given a time like winter right now, if you want to be efficient, in order for us to do brush or cold patch or any job associated, we need to disassemble sanders, pull them out of trucks just to have a usable dump truck. So it's more efficient, and like if we go out to replace signs, branches, mailboxes, whatnot, it's nice to have a workable truck, other than a snow ops ready truck with a salter in it.
But if you got another truck, you would have a sander in that as well, or you wouldn't?
If we go the luxury and purchase the sander with it, yeah, then there'd be one sander.
But isn't there, how many sanders do you have for the small trucks?
2.
Oh, okay. I thought there was 2 in the operable and 1 that was off to the side down there, but there's only 2 for the small truck.
And both of the pony motors on those are, we've put a lot of time and money into those as well.
Okay.
And half times we don't make it through a full storm without issues with those.
1 was bought used and 1's getting some age on it for sure. So,
That's correct.
yeah. Okay.
The second piece of equipment that's a real issue, and I guess there's some history here. I guess the last week that Ryan was down in the highway department, we managed to catch the backhoe on fire.
Well, he's doing some welding under the fenders to fix some of the rot, and that's where the wiring harness was, and it could heat it up, and it did catch on fire.
Yeah.
Yep.
So probably a missed opportunity there relative to, and I don't know whether we could have claimed it from an insurance perspective or not by virtue of the fact that we set it on fire. But it does things like operate itself while driving down the road. It will actually, you'll actually have the bucket decide that it's going to ground out and move without.
It's probably more hydraulics than wiring. There's probably a valve that's sticking and it's not wiring, but it does. Bruce, what are your thoughts on that? Is that more?
Get it fixed.
Yeah.
Get it fixed.
Right. So Kyle did bring somebody on premises to evaluate how much it would cost to get it fixed. The repair estimate was north of $20,000.
The problem that I have with that is that the same company that came to give the estimate is the same company we'd buy the new one from. So I would like an independent estimate from someone like Hilltop Repair that's worked on our equipment for many years. For the most part, we don't use the dealer to work on it unless it's the newer loaders that need the computer to work on it. So for years, Hilltop Repair and the existing highway guys we had worked on it, and I think a $20,000 estimate to fix what's wrong with that is extremely high, but I would like to see a bid from
From
someone
Hilltop.
like Hilltop Repair, that doesn't have any incentive to sell us a new one.
Question on that.
Sure.
Would that include a new wiring harness, the repinning of the pins and the bushings, and also diagnose and fix the hydraulic issue for that quote?
I think we should go apples for apples. Whatever you got for a quote from the dealer, we should get a quote to fix the same things from
Thank you.
An independent person.
Okay. So do we need a motion for that?
Well, let me get 2 more quotes to match those quotes, and then if you want to make a motion to approve the money out of emergency repair replace once the low quote comes in.
Once you get the other quotes?
I can just go ahead and have them do it on site or send it out.
Yeah, yeah, and Hilltop's just, I mean, it's right up the road from me. You
Yeah,
could drop
it's
it
in
off there. If we've got anybody that can drive the trailer.
Okay, so getting back to number 1, the '06 truck. I had a little conversation with Kyle about it. He said he could probably get through to the spring, but he's not sure. And obviously, we don't know if we lose another truck, if we're gonna make it, but would you propose to take that out of the repair and replace for a new truck, or are you?
Not for new,
Okay.
I would look secondary, my thought is secondary market for a truck. Now, the only challenge you're gonna have is probably a lot of the
Wrong
secondary
time of
market.
year to
It's the
buy,
wrong
right.
type of year, it's the wrong type of year to buy that type of truck.
Mm-hmm.
But, we can at least look.
Mhm.
I think it's worth looking, seeing if we can find anything secondary market. And I'd go twofold with that. I'd look both through Municipid as well as through,
The online auctions and,
well, and actually, we've had some luck actually with some of the smaller car dealers around here finding us appropriate frames. Like Barnes in East Brookfield, and I can't remember who else we've used historically. Mostly we've looked Municipid, but
I don't think we've ever bought like a 550 size truck. I know that the highways bought heavy trucks, but I don't know that they've bought,
the smaller ones.
yeah. And then,
Well, and that's why I'm
I think
saying
it's
that,
risky.
I think some of the, I think we've gone used with some of the smaller trucks through, and it's been probably 20 years, through some of the local car dealers.
no.
No?
is there an overwhelming preference on gas versus diesel?
Historically, we've been focused on diesel, but,
Whatever's out there?
I think for a highway use, I think you need a diesel pickup truck for sure.
Yeah.
I would like to get an opinion from Hilltop Repair on the engine work on that truck also, on the '06. I'm not big on spending a lot of money on it. I don't know if the transmission's been done, if the rear end's been done in the truck. I don't know the miles, so I'm reluctant to put too much into an
yeah,
'06 vehicle being 20 years old.
it's
but
only
if-
95K, but
But if we've done a transmission or a rear end, it might be worth putting an engine in it.
I don't think we've done the transmission on that one, have we? How long ago?
A while back.
Yeah, I think if we did, it was like a decade ago, I think.
That may be stretching it, but yeah, it's been done. It's been done,
Yeah,
which, they're
Yeah.
all up again, what's over.
yeah, yeah.
So for another 3,000 to 6,000, you could do the,
You gotta figure out what's wrong with it, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like, sorry to have you do more work, but I would like to see an estimate on that truck, just so we can make a more informed decision on how to help you.
So you want me to hire somebody to rip apart the engine?
No, let's get Hilltop out there and tell him what it was doing and let him take a look at it, ask you some questions. This is what he does every day of the week, and he's pretty sharp at what he does.
If you're gonna price used vehicles, you're gonna have to get 3 quotes for a used vehicle. And they're gonna have to be 3 that are apples to apples. If you're gonna go off Municipid or car dealerships. Just because if you're not buying brand new, you can't use like the state bid list or anything like that. So that's where it becomes a little tricky.
Okay.
So that'll be virtually impossible.
Exactly, which is why, I mean, other than buying heavy equipment, towns generally don't buy regular trucks
used, right?
Because what you're getting off municipal is another town's
Junk.
junk.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the risk, right?
it really is.
And we don't have a mechanic right now.
Right, you're literally buying other towns' junk. That's how it ends up on municipal.
So then I guess the question would be,
What is the difference between buying used and buying brand new?
Brand new is roughly spec'd at 93.
Yeah, which is really not bad.
which is just north of what we have.
Yeah, I would never suggest buying
Sorry?
new out of that account.
Yeah, it would have to be, we'd have to wait till town meeting. Yep.
Yeah, or depending on the use of the truck, you might be able to have it approved through chapter 90.
I would frown on that. I don't want to take money away from our roads.
Yeah.
I get it,
Yeah.
but we have a lot of road money. I went over with Kyle the other day. We have a lot of road money that needs to be spent this year, and chapter
Then-
90 will pay for the vehicle. They won't pay for the accessories though. So they will not buy like a plow and link package. They'll pay for the vehicle though.
Yeah, we got some serious roads that need work, so. Okay, and then I did talk to Kyle to some
Well,
degree
it-
on
There's, can we put on the next meeting agenda, we probably want to talk both how much chapter 90 we have as well as the COVID road money that is going to
Which is what
expire.
Kyle and I sat down and went over last week.
Okay, all right, so you have all that information. I know we had talked about having you go get it, but I
Yep.
hadn't gotten a report back from you yet on what you found out, so.
Yeah, we just met a couple
just
days
met
ago,
on
like 2 days ago.
Okay, all right, so,
And then lastly, the sweeper, and I talked to Kyle, it's unfortunate, we use the North Brookfield sweeper at least 3 years that I'm aware of. We purchase it, and it crapped out on us. So, I know our mechanic that worked on it was really good, Scott, there's not many people better, but it might be just the type of vehicle that if we got someone from the company that sells them out to look at it, it might be an easy fix, because it could be as simple as a seal where it's sucking air into the hydraulic system.
right, and even,
So-
and what Scott had estimated was fairly low cost relative to the replacement of that equipment, so
Yeah.
I would say that's definitely a
Yeah,
repair.
at a replacement of 350,000, I figured Jeff would be jumping up and down on that, but I think we could easily get rid of the sweepers at that point and sub it out. Do half the town one year, the other half the next. We don't use sand. You go back to a hand roll for that cost, yeah.
Did it for years.
But the reality of it is, we could easily, we don't put the 300 tons of sand out that we used to, so we
Yeah.
don't have the need for it like we used to, so. Were you able to get any prices on subbing it out, what it would cost?
No, not yet.
Okay, I know we just talked about it, so, okay. All right, anything else for us, Kyle?
I guess I'm just looking for clarity as to the money for the quotes and the diagnostic could potentially come out of the emergency repair replace fund, or do you want me to continue to overspend my normal operating budget?
So I guess, is there a threshold that if Hilltop came back saying it's gonna be,
Over 10. Over 10, you'll have to get 3 quotes, over 10 grand.
all right, so I tell you what, so I'll make a motion that provided that it's under 10K, that we authorize Kyle to make the call on whether to execute the repair on the 1 ton or not, using the fleet repair replacement account.
Okay, yeah, I'll second that.
And now we're on the backhoe.
Hold on. So, any other discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Alright.
So I think the backhoe, we're kind of in the same boat.
Okay, what's
I
the,
think did you get a cost for a new backhoe? Is it 160,000? Is that a good guess, or?
160 plus, maybe 180, 185, depending on size, type, and what the attachments you were looking for?
So I think functionally, a new wiring harness and under 10,000 in repair to the
I think,
cast portion of the backhoe, I think we would have a pretty reliable machine.
yeah, I think with that one, what we really need is we need the 3 quotes, because it's gonna be over 10K total. I'd say is a safe guess.
Rich,
Yes.
why can't we just get the issue that's wrong with it straightened out? You can look at the casting part of it, it doesn't add to the ability for it to function.
That's correct.
You get this new casting.
Yeah, it's a little sloppy, but that's it, yeah.
But
Yep.
if you can get it to function again, then you'll give you time to figure out what you want to do.
Right.
No, I completely agree with that. It's not, that is not time sensitive. My thing is this was up for repair replace for roughly 4.5, 5 years now by all 4 previous highway superintendents. It went to the annual town meeting for replacement. And that was back then. That was before I inherited it. Once I inherited it, the water superintendent assisted me with a very detailed diagnosis, which all those problems still persisted. And now we have more problems, and it's becoming, more degenerative every day. So I was kind of looking to get it in suitable operating condition
For the springtime.
rather than fix 1/3 of it and then re-diagnose it, fix 1/3. The wiring is an issue. It's been an issue for 5 years. Why we haven't fixed that yet, that's beyond me. Wiring is a mess and it needs to be done.
Right, understood, but I think the scenario that we're talking about right now, and I think I'm saying the same thing, it just may not have sounded like the same thing. But in order to execute it, we need to get 3 bids.
So you're
it's
saying separate the
probably-
jobs but tackle all 3?
Not
No,
necessarily. I
no,
think Bruce
I'm-
is saying that it doesn't need the extensive repair that we're saying, right? And I agree.
Two other quotes. You said you have a dealer quote.
Right,
You need 2 other
Right.
companies.
The
Right.
dealer quote is to repair the entire machine, not to fix either the electrical or the valve problem with it.
Right.
okay,
We can fix 1 or 2, or there may be a combination. You can
Yeah.
use the machine.
Correct.
so,
Hold on one second, Chris, I'm gonna let Beth finish her thought.
You could still have 2 other people, like Hilltop and one other random company, bid the exact same things the dealer did.
and then you can just
And then you can
decide by
pick and
line item
choose
what to fix,
And
right?
say, all right, well,
Yeah.
this person bid and it was 13 grand, but out of this person I
Well,
picked, I only want to do these 4 things, not the
And,
other
and we,
6.
and we do that with government purchase
Exactly.
orders all the time, where we'll send a quote out to a vendor, and then they'll quote each line item, and then you
You
might,
just need to get the 3 people to
Right.
all
Bid the same thing,
job.
yeah, and then you can pick it apart.
Yeah.
right.
Okay. All right.
So, Kyle, do you understand?
I do.
Okay. So let's just make sure that they're aware of
I'll have it printed out.
make sure, you leave the prices off of it, but leave all the items on there, and make sure that they quote everything the same,
Yeah.
is the safe way to do it.
Chris, go ahead. Chris? Can you let Chris know where?
Can you hear me?
Oh, we
Now
can
we
hear you.
can, yeah.
I just want to remind the board, when you take comments from the public and they're in the audience, I can't hear it.
Sorry about that. I generally ask people to come up, so won't happen again, Chris.
Grab a microphone.
Chris, is there anything you'd like us to repeat, what you missed?
No, I'll just watch it on YouTube, but that's fine.
Okay, thank you. All right, anything else for us, Kyle?
Yeah, the sweeper diagnosis from CN Wood. They came out last year, diagnosed the old one before we made the decision to purchase the other used one. Rough diagnosis was right around $2,000. Is that a purchase that you want me to go ahead and make the phone call to? And would you like me to keep overspending my general operating budget, or would you like to take that money out of emergency repair replace for the diagnostic of the sweeper?
I think where the sweeper's not time sensitive at all, we have a long time, and my other concern is that it's outside, and we didn't know if it got serviced for, if anything's.
Yeah, I mean,
broke.
April 1 would be the time I would be looking forward to using that sweeper. So in the month of March, I would be having them come and would do an interior diagnostic, and they would assess it at that point.
So it runs and operates, so we could bring it in the garage?
That's correct.
Warm it up and let them come and I would like to put a cap on what they come out and what we spend to get an estimate to fix it, but maybe limit it to 4 hours, and their hourly rate's probably $140 an hour, so,
Probably 180 now, would be
but,
my guess.
but we're not gonna get to the 1,000-point mark. I'd like to keep it under $1,000 to see what we can do, or 1,200. I'd hate to see, we throw another 2,000 at it and then decide to get rid of it.
Okay, so 1,000 or 1,200
Somewhere in
for a
that
4-hour
neighborhood, I would like to-
diagnosis. And is that, do you want me to go ahead and make the call? or-
Hold on, we're gonna take a vote on that.
So I make a motion to authorize the use of the fleet repair replace to get a full estimate on the cost of repairing the 99 Pelican Sweetbird.
And do we put a limit on the cost?
I would like to see an estimate first.
Well, you can't get an estimate on an estimate.
Yeah, it's hard,
I mean,
they'd
it's,
have to
it's
come out and
like,
kind of
like,
go
like
over
right
it.
now, we're voting to let him have the money out of fleet repair replace to get
Yeah, but
the
they're gonna-
estimate done.
Okay. All
So
right,
they
that's
send out a
fine, that's
tech
fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so,
hourly and go
let's
through
just
all
Not
say.
to, not to do the work.
No.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Okay,
not,
yeah, I
I'll-
misunderstood.
I'll put
Okay.
I'll put an NTE of 1,200 on that.
Yeah, I think we can get a fair assessment for $1,200. So, all.
Is that, have they come out previously?
Just once,
And how much was it to get? the
right around
estimate?
there.
Okay. So,
So do I have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
aye.
Aye.
All right.
Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No, I'm next up again.
What's that?
I'm next up.
Oh, you're up again?
Yeah, he's up again.
Wow. All right. Highway Advisory Committee discussion. Sarah will take the lead here.
I had a couple people approach me wondering if we could restart the Highway Advisory Committee. Long story short, I went to Kyle to see if Kyle would even be open to the conversation. I didn't want to jump it and without Kyle being okay with it. Kyle said he was on board. I'm iffy about it still, 100%. Not gonna lie. But I kind of created a charge. I went over it with Kyle. We kind of started having the conversation of what a charge could possibly be. He was okay with it. We had some corrections and kind of going towards that path, but I wanted to see how you two felt before it went further.
I'm totally dependent on what's in the charge.
Me too.
Yeah.
And this is previous to having a TA also.
Yeah. No,
So-
I understand that.
So now that we
right.
have a TA and somebody, there's a buffer, a liaison sort of.
Yeah.
And I had I have stipulations to the committee as well.
So-
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, my answer depends on what we put in the charge.
I agree, 100%. And I just wanted to see if you'd even be interested, I guess, in having a charge. I'm not gonna.
I'm interested in having a charge. At
All
least
right.
have a charge
I'm
in
not
front
gonna
of us.
take the time, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's worth considering. I think one of the reasons to have the committee is actually the topic that came up kind of in process. We have a lot of work to do and we have some money to do it with. And we need to be transparent about the fact we have some money to do it with, right? And I think one of the things that's been, I think it would give us an opportunity to focus a group of people on helping lay out that highway-specific capital plan, mostly focused on the roads themselves.
Yeah,
Right.
that was in there.
Yeah.
Road
And-
improvements,
and-
drainage was
Yeah.
in there.
Right, and-
Budgeting, capital improvements related to the
Grant
truck.
pursuit.
Yeah,
Yep.
related to the trucks.
Right, like, like
grant.
stuff like that, right?
Yeah,
Now, yeah, so if it's focused on those broader things to free Kyle up to do the day-to-day,
yeah, and it was the draft
Right.
that we started, or I had, and I gave it to you. I mean, we had a couple
Right.
tweaks.
Yeah, there's a
but-
little minor
Yeah,
draft,
minor.
minor tweaks, yep.
Yeah, but, even
Right.
to get rid of some stuff, but,
Mm.
yeah.
But to me, so long as it's focused on those higher level things and not,
Yeah,
not
focus
how
on-
much of the salt in the salt shed is getting treated and not treated,
No,
then
it
I think
was-
I think that we'd be in a good position.
Yeah, it was based off of road improvements, budgeting, capital improvement, drainage, grants, and also I put in there communication, not day-to-day, but communications between the residents and them for projects or
So like big project
It's,
Yes,
communication.
yeah, being that citizens person, not day-to-day, meaning like potholes or something like that, but
It's
big
high-level public
projects.
outreach.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of.
Basically,
being in touch with the
and
community.
just the stipulations I had for it were, I was going to be instrumental in creating the agenda, the place of the meetings, the times of the meetings, the regularity of the meetings. I would be able to make any final edits to the draft before it goes in front of the board. And no previous highway superintendents would be able to serve without a unanimous decision vote from the board and the current highway superintendent.
That's interesting. Okay.
I would like to see the charge, so why
Yeah,
don't we?
yeah, I just wanna start the
I-
conversation.
I'd say you got a pretty good, solid agreement moving forward, and like Beth said, I'd like to see the charge, so.
Understood.
So you'll work with Sarah on completing that, and we'll,
Or Beth, yeah, whoever. I mean, I can send you what I had topic with Kyle if you wanna take lead or whatever, I don't care,
I mean,
either work.
I mean, if you're that far along, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna
This is
fight
a
you. I'm not
positive
gonna arm-
committee
I'm not
based
gonna arm
on
wrestle you.
positivity, based on high-level ideas to help promote
Yeah,
things within the town, to bring the public together, to improve infrastructure, to improve things on a high level.
yep,
This is nothing discussing day-to-day operations. This
No.
is strictly for the future, the 3-year, the 5-year, the capital plan.
yep.
Yes.
all right,
And we both agreed to that,
Yep.
yeah, going into the conversation. And that's what I approached him with. It wasn't that I approached it with something different. I wanna make that known too.
Oh, no, that's fine.
all right.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Kyle.
Thank you.
So we'll get this on the next agenda? Sure. Okay. Come on up, Steve.
I have a small potential suggestion for the charge, and that would be communication between highway and conservation when it comes to projects which pertain to wetlands or other land under jurisdiction. The townwide notice of intent is expiring in August of this year, so that might be a project that requires collaboration between highway and conservation, and having a highway advisory committee to assist with that, so we
That
can.
might be huge.
Yeah, so that's a possible consideration for the charge as
So
well.
would you be interested in getting on the highway committee to work hand in hand?
We will
Steve,
see
are you
about,
gonna put your name in?
we will see about that. I am on 3 boards as it stands, and this is not necessarily my forte, but this is something that has to happen one way or the other.
Yeah, yeah, and I think no one better to communicate than you.
I'm happy to
With
help.
your attention to detail.
I'm happy to help, but whether I can commit to it is to be determined.
Yeah.
Okay,
But I just wanted to bring that up because that is something that's coming up.
maybe it wouldn't be as involved as it sounds, but, yeah, okay.
Yep.
Thank you, Steve. All right. All right, approve Weston and Sampson invoice for Kimball Street project.
Motion to approve the Weston and Sampson invoice for Kimball Street.
Second?
Second, I'm sorry.
Yep, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, approve the Kimball Street project engineering contract as amended.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Sign DEP environmental protection grant scope of work for the paint shed.
Let's see, CMRPC invoice 24.
We just,
Skip 10.
You did the amendment, you did the amendment.
Yeah, you did the amendment, but you didn't.
Oh, I'm
yeah.
sorry, okay. I'm gonna have to start bringing glasses myself. So approve Central Mass Regional Planning Committee invoice number 24.
so moved.
All right, sign,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Sign DEP environmental protection, grant scope of work for the paint shed.
I'll make a motion that we sign the Department of Environmental Protection grant scope of work for the paint shed.
Okay, sign, oh, so do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Sign DEP Environmental Protection Service, grant scope for reuse swap shop. I'm not really sure what that is. I didn't look at
make
that.
That's the take it or leave it, that's at
Oh, okay,
the,
okay.
I'll make a motion to sign the grant scope of work for the swap shop.
All right, do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, number 13, Council on Aging resignation, Sandra Rich. With regret.
I'll make a motion to accept with regret her resignation.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Request the use of the town common for the 3rd Annual Agricultural Fair on August 8th of '26.
Motion to approve the use of the green for the 3rd Annual Agricultural Fair.
Do I have a second? I'll second. Sarah second it. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Open meeting law complaint response by Mr. Kelleher. We do have the paperwork. Copeland and Page is the one that prepared it, and there's also another complaint by Officer Matt Lapiori for the similar circumstance, so Copeland and Page did both. Did you guys have a chance to look at them yet?
Okay, so it looks like all we have to do is fill in the date of the accident,
Yeah.
which was,
Karen has the date.
Yeah, I have to look it up.
Back in November. It was in November, I believe.
Does that sound good? Well, will you approve it and I'll step it?
Just find the chief's email when you get a chance. You don't have to do it now. Okay.
Okay, all right.
Is there anything else you want to add, Beth? Or?
I'll make a motion to approve it as written with the, upon inclusion of the date of the accident.
Okay. I have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have a hand up. Chris, you have the floor.
Well, I have a technical question before this goes against my time. Is the audio cut out? Did you say Copel wrote this?
Copeland and Page, yep.
Or KP. It's
KP
no, it's
Law?
they're not Copeland and Page
Well,
anymore, they're just KP
KP.
Law.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, so for my 2 minutes, I just want to go over again that the select board's stance on open meeting law complaints is deflection, hostility, it's the complainant's fault, you're setting these open meeting law complaints over typos, which I've never called somebody gets for a typo. Defensiveness, Rich, you were defensive when, if I pulled 2 minutes. when I was cut off at a minute 27 seconds. You said that you know, that you did this and that. You were defensive on it. You weren't even the chair. What happened? You're making excuses for something you didn't even do. And last meeting, you said that, you know, that you're volunteers. And I'm going to correct you on that. You're not volunteers. You're policymakers. You're elected officials in our town. And when you took the oath of office, you swore that you'd have a copy of the open meeting law guidance and the state ethics guidance. And you're saying, you know, I follow these open meeting law complaints because you don't say that you're recording the meetings. Collateral damage on this most recent open meeting law claim you're reviewing tonight is we lost a police officer over it. So when you don't do the open meeting law training and you miss the small stuff, as you want to call it, you're also missing the major stuff. And I don't understand it. You have a CDL, Rich. You know, you have to get training for that. You could have just jumped in your junk truck and just drive around saying, I got this. You have to get training. You have to get your license. You have to go through the steps. There's no difference here. You guys, when you violate the open meeting law, you are breaking the law. You are violating the Massachusetts open meeting law. You're breaking the law. And to blame the person who raises the complaint as the person that's responsible for that turns the statute upside down. And it's very frustrating to be mocked, publicly ridiculed, being attacked, being accused of making the legal fees go up because you guys do not follow the law. It should be a learning lesson. It should be, thank you for pointing that out. Okay, we're going to make a note, we're going to take the training, whatever we're going to do to correct it.
Thank you, Chris. All right. So we're good with no one else on the open meeting law complaints or responses? Good?
Well,
Did
I make a motion for Karen. It's, the date of the accident was November 7th, 2025, so.
Okay, so that makes it complete. Any other discussion?
So I make a motion to have Karen sent off KP's response.
Okay. All right, all in favor? Aye. Beth, you started making a motion, but did you vote or are you abstaining? I didn't get whether you're voting on it or.
Oh,
did you?
aye, sorry.
Okay, no big deal. All right, number 16, sign alcoholic beverage control commission, seasonal population. We have a motion for that?
Motion to sign the alcohol seasonal population document.
Do we have a second? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Number 17, sign alcoholic beverage control commission, non-renewal report. I have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
18, approve select board minutes for 11/4/25 and 12/9/25.
I did not get time to review these in advance of the meeting today.
Do you want me to pass on and you?
Can we pass on them, come back to them
Yeah.
next meeting? Come on the next meeting?
Next week, correct?
Yeah, I believe
Okay.
so.
Fair enough.
I would prefer that.
All right.
Because I really didn't get a chance to review them.
All right, acknowledge, all right, number 19, acknowledge the police department monthly report for November. All right, any,
Yeah, do we?
I don't have anything else to come before the board. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn, unless,
Motion to adjourn.
second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Did you want to stay, or is that?
We
Yes.
adjourn.
Sarah, do you want Karen to reach out to Rebecca? Or do you, okay, perfect. Do you want to reach out to Rebecca and let her know? Yes, tomorrow, please.
Like technically I'm her boss over there, I'm here, but like we work together over there, like, you know, I don't know, it's awkward for me.
It's been extended since
That'll be weird. I'm hoping it works out,
2009 or
so-
thereabouts. And Mass,
She seems really good.
speaking
and
with
that's why
Becky
I
Jen,
think interim was the way to go. So,
Yes, yeah,
go right ahead.